1 year ago, a man walked into a Pittsburgh synagogue armed with an assault rifle and shot and murdered 11 innocent neighbors. Much like how everyone remembers where they were on 9/11, the morning of October 27th, 2018 will forever be ingrained in the minds of us Jews from Pittsburgh. I will always remember the sinking feeling I got when I received 100 texts from my family saying the words shooting and Tree of Life Synagogue. The feeling of worrying about who was in that synagogue that we know. And the feeling throughout this past year of wondering, are we no longer safe? Like so many other communities who have experienced shootings or acts of discrimination, it never leaves us. Coverage may pass, and sometimes quickly with another act of gun violence, but we still live with it every day. And our community is still trying to figure out how to move forward. The murder of 11 innocent people became the worst attack on Jews in the history of the United States. However, anti-Semitism isn't a novel idea to us. As Jews, we grew up learning about this history. From celebrating Hanukkah, where we learn about the Maccabees' refusal to abandon Judaism, to more recent history, with the Nazis' attempt at eliminating us altogether, to even today, learning about the constant growth of conspiracies against Jews ravaging its way through Europe, leading to yet another attempt at a synagogue shooting in Germany just a few weeks ago. History has repeatedly shown us this hatred, but in my lifetime, the United States always seemed like a safe zone for people to freely be who they are without punishment. It somehow seemed intangible to believe otherwise, up until a new chapter in history was written last year. Since that day, anti-Semitism has continued to rise in the United States. Exactly 6 months after the Tree of Life shooting, another synagogue shooting occurred in Poway, California, killing an innocent Jew over Passover. The ADL has reported that its nationwide count of anti-Semitic incidents remains at near record levels, with 780 incidents in just the first 6 months of 2019. This past year, I met a young woman in Colorado, not even old enough to vote, who was on the receiving end of anti-Semitic vandalism by her classmates. This moment was especially alarming because it opened my eyes to the hateful rhetoric infiltrating our youth. Hatred isn't something you're inherently born with, but rather it's something taught to you. And we need to do a better job at teaching the younger generation right from wrong. There are two things in particular that happened over this past year that do give me hope and prove that the Jewish people will not be defined by hatred and violence. The first is the Jewish pride and harnessing of values that resulted. The second our town was attacked, it was like an alarm clock went off for us. For many of us, we instinctively became stronger as Jews, more united as a community, and more proud of who we are. One man's mission of eradicating us, much like many others who have come before him, failed. Congregations of synagogues suddenly became closer. Friends were celebrating Shabbat weekly. Jewish organizations proudly stood by other minorities in need. This is how we as Jews have expressed our loss, through unity, love, and tikkun olam, repairing the world. So the question here is, what can we do to eradicate anti-Semitism and hatred in our country? It's naive to think this can be done quickly or easily, but for me, being proud of my heritage and using these positive values to teach others helps combat. Values taught to me at Jewish day school, Jewish summer camp, Tree of Life Synagogue, values passed on from my family generations ago through their migration from Eastern Europe. These experiences taught me not only what it means to be Jewish, but how to use my heritage to help repair the world. And we can all do this, not we as in Jews, but we as in Americans. We live in a time where it's more important than ever to use our voices in our history and use them for good. My second point of hope is the support and unity that surrounded Pittsburgh over the past year. Our Muslim neighbors, without the blink of an eye, raised money for our community and even offered to stand guard outside the synagogue. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the largest newspaper in the city, showcased the Mourner's Kaddish, a Hebrew prayer, on its front page to mourn the 11 innocent lives lost. Artwork was submitted from kids around the world to place in front of our barricaded synagogue with messages of love and hope. Our Christian neighbors offered their church for the high holidays so we'd have a home to pray in. It's this unity and love that honor the memories of those we lost every day. And it's up to all of us to continue doing so. We need to focus on the communities that are bringing people together, and Pittsburgh is a great place to start. One of the most important acts of faith I've learned as a Jew is to be kind towards others. The Torah commands just treatment of a stranger 36 times more than any other commandment, stating, "When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong him. You shall love him as yourself." With so much going on in our society, in our government, we need to take a step back and be proud of our heritage and what makes us who we are. And more importantly, we need to learn from our neighbors and appreciate what makes them who they are. We live in a country built upon the congregation of different cultures and opinions, but these differing ideas should not come at the expense of someone's safety or freedom. So maybe, as a united front, we can get to a place where hateful acts like what happened 1 year ago are no more, because we are in charge of writing our next chapter. Rabbi Abraham Isaac Kook, the first Ashkenazi chief rabbi in pre-state Israel, once said, "The Talmud teaches us the second temple was destroyed because of causeless hatred. Perhaps the third temple will be built because of causeless love." We are rebuilding because we have the love, strength, and unity to move forward as one. And with each act of Tikkun Olam, we are keeping the memories of those 11 beautiful souls alive. So to anyone of a different religion, ethnicity, or sexual orientation on the receiving end of hatred as well, please know that we stand with you. We support you, and above all, we love you, and our doors are always open.